Hello and welcome to this very peculiar podcast, which I have no idea what's going to happen. Uh, as you know, I am Jack Sharkey, and today I'm joined by my good friend Jason Farries. How you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm very well. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, buddy, good. I have no idea what to talk about, to be honest. I've got a few sort of things that I thought about, but I thought we'd just come on, have a little chat, and just see if people want to watch. You know, it's a time of, well, it's a weird time, and it's so entertainment for people, something to listen to, and yeah, see if anyone enjoys it. Shoot the shit, I guess. And this will probably have strong language, so apologies if anyone's offended.
You know, but it is weird. It's like you said, it's weird because no one knows what to sort of do with themselves, do they? They're at a total loose end.
No,
Uh,
it's weird.
so we kind of just have to. If anything, it's just about saying hello and connecting. I mean, I've missed you. It's good to
Oh,
see you.
no, it's good, man. But no, like you said, you got so much stuff cancelling at the moment and everything like that. And we'll probably talk a bit about acting and the stuff that we mentioned on the show. So if you were on episode 2, I think of talking with talent,
Mm.
I think this is probably a different entity in itself, of just two mates having a laugh, really. But yeah, I mean, so how is life for you? Obviously, I'm sure a lot of stuff's cancelled and postponed and stuff, and that.
Yeah, no, everything did. Everything did. I mean, my panto, which I would be doing right now, is that's not happened, and a couple of films that we were going to be doing in end of April, May time, they've been pushed back
Mm.
indefinitely, so we don't know when they're going to happen. And then film festivals. I was expected to be at the London Film Festival, the Oxford Film Festival, and they're all gone. So which it's fine. I mean, London Film Festival was a pain because we were meant to screen. You know, the day that Boris Johnson said, "Right, everywhere closes, no gyms,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
cinemas."
That was
That
nice.
was the day before we were meant to screen. So my film didn't get screened because that was the day that it got shut down. And it was the last day of the festival as well, typical. But Oxford's postponed. We'll do that later. Um,
Yeah.
and I imagine you're the same. I imagine that you just any opportunities they're gone.
Yeah, it's just bumbling around at the moment, isn't it, really? I mean, yeah, just trying to learn as much stuff and try and use it, try and put this negative into a positive and try and learn some new skills, get some, I'd like to look back on this year and go, do you know what? It was a crap year, but I built myself up and did all these things, which in the end, in a few years' time, have dividends and rewards. So, but I'm surprised how many people aren't doing that. I'm surprised how every time I go on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, it's just people like, oh, I'm bored of watching Netflix now. Oh, I'm bored. Like, do something, man. Stop playing Call of Duty and go and freaking learn something or invest in yourself or use it as an advantage. I know it's crap, but turn on its head and do something with it.
Well, absolutely. I think I said this to someone recently that, we've got the internet as a free resource. Well, I say free resource. I mean, what's on it is a free resource. And so, I'm doing exactly the same as you. I'm trying to learn as many things as possible. I set myself up a schedule,
Mm.
and I'm on Duolingo. I'm learning Italian. Um, I dug out my old ukulele from my college days. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. This is the cheapest ukulele you've ever seen. But look,
Oh, was that the classic Amazon 20 quid one?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 16 at the time actually.
Oh,
So it was mega cheap, and it's orange, like plastic.
sounds
Um,
good.
and then beyond that, I'm doing monologues. I'm practicing some Shakespeare, and I'm doing some little like home videos, and I'm also doing I'm doing martial arts as well. I've been like
Ooh,
just before you rang me this morning, I was finishing off a karate class. So I've taken up because there's YouTube lessons on karate,
yeah.
and I was like, you know what, why not? I've got all this time, so I might as well learn at least 4 or 5 new performance skills.
Yeah, working out as well and keeping fit.
Trying.
Yeah,
It's so hard. It's so
I'm
hard.
gonna I'm gonna out you here as well because when I spoke to Jason the other day, he said oh sort of 10 or 11. He said I'll do it at 11 so I can get my workout in before. I said oh what that's gonna get your pump. He's like yeah you know it.
You got it. You got it. You're appearing in front of people. I made sure I showered as well. Yeah. Because Jack keeps having a go at me for not showering, but I showered, Jack. I shower.
Every time I see you, you have your workout in the morning. You've got the same top on for like the next 3 days. It seems like
I own a washing machine. I shower. I promise.
the only own one top. That's the problem.
Oh dear. No, what are you doing? I mean, you've just heard what I'm up to. What kind of things are you keeping busy with?
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm definitely. I mean, my time frames was very different to yours. You've been acting for a long time, and I started uh, 14, 15 months ago. So
Mm.
it's a lot sooner, and a lot less experience. So one thing that I've been struggling with is was really busy up until last October. I did a feature film, and then it's been pretty quiet since. I did a couple of bits, and then obviously even now when everything's cancelled, to be honest, I don't really have much in the pipeline. And obviously been doing this with Brian and enjoying this. But I've found that I still absolutely love it, but my aim has sort of driven a bit since I've met my girlfriend, and she's in the creative industry as well. And it's now a case if you've got to think, two people in the creative industry. I don't have lots of experience. I'm very happy to sit there at 30, eating beans out of a can, going, look, I'm on the skin of my ass, but I'm loving what I'm doing and I'm making stride and stuff. But I also not sure I want to put her through that as well, and her journey could be quite similar. So I'm sort of splitting my time now as well. I'm sort of looking at half sort of going back into business sort of world, but still trying to pursue acting on the side as well, and sort of doing it something I love rather than potentially a career. Just being realistic, because obviously you've got a lot of experience, a lot of great film stuff behind you, and yeah, so it's just trying to be realistic. So I'm looking at forex and trying to teach myself that as well, and sort of learn something where I'm not depending on people. That's one thing I've realised that even when I used to work as an estate agent or something, you're relying on an employer to give you a wage. Then you go self-employed and you think, oh, I don't have to rely on anyone now. It's all about myself. I can make work for myself and that sort of thing. And then when something like this happens, you realise I'm still relying on someone to hire me. I still have literally no money unless you say yes. So trying to find something where you can go, no matter what, I can go out and earn myself some money and be completely self-reliant. So just trying to learn new skills. So yeah, looking at forex and trying to teach myself. Like I said, the internet, you've got so many free resources. Yeah. So just trying to learn as much as I can, and like I say, come out of it stronger. Just keep learning.
No, I think you touched on something really important there, because, like as you said, it's not. Although your self-employed status means you're your own boss, you're still reliant on your clients and society in that weird way. Unless you go and live as a hermit in the woods and hunt fish and stuff, you're always going to be reliant on something else. And this is really thrown a spanner in the works. I mean, obviously the government are trying to help us with finances and whatnot, but the initial response of everyone gets 80% of their wage, but self-employed people get £96 a week, like that just didn't make sense. And it goes to show how biased the system is against people who are self-employed, when self-employed people make up I think they make up like a good
chunk,
majority, because they're taxi drivers, they're fishermen, they're
everything like that, and
exactly, So I think they're right in doing what they're going to do, which is they're going to find an average. They're going to find an average of everyone's earnings. But I got mates of mine who I recently spoke to, and unfortunately, they're actors, they're talent. And I was like, oh, yeah, good news. The government's given you 80% average of what you've declared as your earnings over the past few years. And they go, I've never declared my earnings. And you're like, oh, you shot yourself in the foot there. It's a real shame, because a mate of mine's been doing this for 3 or 4 years, and he's never actually declared his income through self-employed status through HMRC.
I'm really in a similar position to that. I mean, the fact I have declared everything, but because I've only been doing it a year, and they want 3 years books and that sort of stuff as well. And I'll be quite honest, I haven't earned much money from acting, so it would probably be tuppence anyway. So yeah.
No, it's hard. But you are sensible enough to have actually declared it in this first year. I mean, had you been doing this 5 or 6 years and never declared it, that's bad business as it is. you know,
Yeah.
because there's so many incentives and rewards from the government for just, you know, you sign on as self-employed. There are benefit schemes and ways to help, but people not doing their research and relying solely on their auditions to give them income.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a shame really, because in that sense, I sort of I mean, I've always been quite a sensible person. I pride myself on that. But I'm glad that for the last 4 years I've been declaring
Yeah.
self-employed. So yeah, I'm very thankful. I mean, you're quite right in saying that you don't earn loads, you know. You don't earn loads. But every year I've earned slightly more, and it's nice to see actually going back through my declarations that I've improved. And even if I just charted my income as my success, that is a nice way to see it.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully next year when we're back on track, I can actually that can be my sole and reliable source of income. You know.
Yeah. No, it's good, like you say. You got especially in this industry, where it's quite hard to track your progress, really, isn't it? Because it's like you say, you're obviously doing panto, and it's like, well, do you compare a panto to doing a film? What's better? Sort of, it's all it's all part of the same thing, isn't it? It's all quite subjective to whether you're doing better than you were last year or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite good to have those sort of extra targets as well, and go through it that way.
It's like they say, you're only as good as your last job, and that's really frustrating. That's frustrating because you'll think to yourself, "Oh, I had this really cool role one day when I was like 21," and then you're 4 or 5 years later going, "Oh man, I'm doing this short film with these students, and I'm not putting down student films. I'm
No.
I'm typical for that, but it is the basis of you pick roles based on what your current situation is and what you think is the best thing, and so you have to look at your career as a whole rather than what you're doing right there, right that second. Otherwise, it can bum you out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the dreaded corona then, shall we? Obviously, we've heard old Boris is in hospital now. What are your thoughts on that?
Boris Johnson, I don't have any sort of personal issues with Boris Johnson. I really don't. I think when people talk about politicians, they make it very personal. Like, oh, I hate so and so for this, I hate so and so for that. I mean, there's people I'm not keen on, but I like to look at them as, well, are they doing their job right?
Yeah.
And I think Boris Johnson, I don't have any. I'm not celebrating him having coronavirus. I wouldn't wish that on someone. It sounds awful. It sounds so horrible. There's not a lot of people I would wish them to be ill or sick.
I've got a list we can share if you want, but yeah. No,
yeah.
I mean, it's like you say, unless you know someone personally, it's hard to judge someone from what they appear on the news and TV and stuff like that. Whether you agree with their policies or them as a person, or whether you think they're a strong leader and what the country needs or something is different to whether you personally have a problem with them, definitely. But yeah, it's quite interesting. Going around shaking everybody's hand, wasn't I? Shaking everyone, even the corona victims. I'm shaking hands with everyone. Do not worry. I'm shaking hands. 3 weeks later, I do have corona symptoms. I am very ill. Brilliant.
So
Love it.
true. He was bragging about that. He was really proud of that, and it's the consequence of it has shown. But it's also, I mean, he's the one, really, really emphasizing social distancing and stuff. If nothing else, he is the perfect, martyr for it to say, like, no one is immune to this. I'm not protected because I'm someone of power, and I tried to warn you, and I unfortunately neglected those rules, and here I am. I've now got it. So, if anything, it should reinforce the idea of staying away from people.
It's one of the worrying things I found is that I don't think anyone really took it seriously until Tom Hanks got it. And that was when everyone was like, oh, anyone can get this. Oh shit, no. No one cared. They're like, some people in China, that sucks. And you're like, Tom Hanks, oh my, mind blown.
Tom Hanks is too much of a treasure to lose. I mean, that would ruin 2020. If anything happened to I can handle everything else, but losing Tom Hanks would be the end of it. I would personally riot, and I'd rally the people. You know, coronavirus would end in a second flat if anything happens to Tom Hanks.
It's one of those worries, though, isn't it? It does show sort of where we are as a society. And no one really cares until someone famous gets it.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, I don't know, you're not massive into football or anything like that, but the football didn't really seem to care until the Arsenal manager got it. And then a couple of players got it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, money doesn't protect you from this virus. It's like, no shit. No shit. It's a virus that doesn't discriminate against if you're rich or not. Like,
Yeah. And that's really true of anything, really, isn't it? You know, as much as we have money and status and power and fame, you know, ultimately we're still all human beings. So it's quite a nice reminder in that sense, and I think it's bringing everyone back to a sense of humility, which is pretty nice. You know, it's in a weird way, although we're social distancing and we're isolating, we are quite united. And I mean, it sounds a little bit soppy, but I'm really proud of the nation coming together and doing the applauding of the NHS. Yeah, that's such a lovely moment, and it showed. I mean, it's very British. That's a very British response to applaud.
Yeah, I do have a problem with it in a sense of maybe controversial. I think it's a lovely thing, but I think at the same time, if everyone donated £10, that would be more lovely. Like I think it's great that everyone's coming together and applauding. It's lovely to show your respect. I know people in the NHS and family members and that sort of thing. It's amazing what they do. You know, on one hand, yes, that is their job and that's what they signed up for, but it's a fucking hard job, an underpaid job, and a job that isn't appreciated anywhere near as much as it should be. But at the same time, it's lovely to show our appreciation. But I understand that everyone can put their hand in their pocket, but that sort of thing does make more difference in reality. You know, donating a little bit of money and just helping these people out. I don't have a problem with the clap at all. It's lovely, but I think there's also other ways that we can help.
No, I think you've made a really good point because lovely. We've shown our appreciation, but what would show more appreciation is paying them a much higher wage and giving them the support and resources that they need. Because in this time of crisis, everyone has had to turn to the NHS, and thank God we have universal healthcare. Thank God that we have free healthcare, because so many people would have just not been able to afford this. And I am terrified for America. I mean, like, you think
the numbers are scary.
Yeah, I wonder how much they're struggling, and people who have contracted this virus, I wonder how much they're going to have to pay for treatment and whatnot. So, you know, I've not heard anything about that side of it, but it's an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, it also shows how important people that you, on a day-to-day basis, wouldn't consider essential workers. You know, people that are working in your Tesco's, your Asda's, your Sainsbury's, Morrison's. These people are still there. They're still doing a job, and they are at risk because that's their job. And I mean, I've worked in Asda before and never considered myself an essential worker or anything like that. But when you really think about it, the one thing you need is food and water, and that's the one thing you can go out and get. And these people are, still working and still contributing, and I think they've been massively undervalued for years. And hopefully, this will make people appreciate it a lot more.
You'd certainly hope so, because they get given this minimum wage, which often is not quite sufficient to live on unless you're living on your bare essentials. And the supermarkets could definitely afford to increase their wage as well. And that would obviously mean that you're probably getting more people encouraged to go out and work for a supermarket, because often people will remain unemployed because they don't want to stack the shelves.
Yeah,
but
as well, quite often. People down on that kind of job.
So you're quite right. It's not something we've considered before, and what's interesting is to see the people who we do consider essential previously are not necessarily doing any work right now. The people who have been told to stay at home, and the people who are still out working are your bin collectors, your bin men, and then your supermarket workers, and then of course the police force. The police are doing wonderful things at the moment. I don't know how much I agree with giving people fines for staying out, but it does seem to be working, because people are still gathering in parks and stuff, and the police do need to sort of go, look, you know, you're ruining this situation. We can do this faster if you just stay at home.
Well, that's the thing, is I think that the quickest way to not solve it, but you know, to increase the speed at which we can deal with it is to get harsher. I think I know a lot of European countries have put in curfews and that sort of stuff, and only elderly people are allowed out between certain times. I think I was speaking to someone yesterday. I don't want to get it wrong. I think it's Macedonia, and they said that elderly people are allowed out from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. And there's only elderly people allowed out then, because obviously they're so vulnerable. So no one else go out there and worry. But I think we do have to get harsher, because the amount of stuff I see, people just aren't taking it seriously. And yeah, it's fine. You know, let's be honest, with people like you and I, it's not really going to be a problem. It's very unlikely to be a problem for us personally. You know, we might get ill, but we'd most likely recover. But if we got it and then passed on to an elderly person, and you know, all of a sudden it's a real issue, and it could be life threatening. So I think people are really, I mean, it's a societal thing. People are really selfish, and if it doesn't affect them, they'll just go about their lives normally. So I think the only way to stop that is by getting pretty harsh, really.
Yeah, and I think that is a lack of perspective, because it's not affecting them directly. They're just hearing about it on the news or on social media. Then it doesn't exist until they contract it. It doesn't exist.
I mean, it came home to me the other day. My dad's neighbour passed away from it, and he was elderly. I think he must have been late 70s, early 80s. So obviously, a vulnerable person. And I didn't know him very well. So it's very sad. You don't like anyone passed away, but it's like, damn, that's on the doorstep. That's literally next door to the house that, you know, my young sisters live in, and my dad lives in. It's like, whoa, okay, you know, if you're talking across the fence to them, you could have contracted it that way. It's like that's how crazy it is. Until you know someone, you're like, oh, it's on the news. I think it's probably about 5,000 cases at the moment. You're like, oh, 5,000 people. We've got like 68, 70 million people in this country. That's nothing. But when you realize, damn, it's on my doorstep, that's when you start taking it seriously.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, I do look forward to a time where this is like, it's all blown over. Because from, you know, that first announcement of, oh, this is going to be 3 weeks, like, I don't think anyone really believed it was going to be 3 weeks. And now they're saying June. Yeah. And it's like, so right off the summer, basically, you might as well write off the whole summer.
It's in China, yeah, but it's not going to spread. They'll figure a way out. Then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, it's over here, and then it's multiplying. And like I said, I think it's 5,000 cases in the UK. I think it's something I saw this morning was 145,000 in America. It's now the highest in the world, just because they didn't put in the precautions. And now, again, I don't want to say any of this is fact, because I might be getting things wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw that it's now state dependent. Some states initiating social distancing and some aren't. Yeah. So how does that work? If some are, some aren't, what's the point? Like,
yeah, I mean, the difficulty there is, like, America is essentially, although it is one country, it's the size of a collection of countries. Yeah. That's why they have states. That's why they have their regions, and so, you know, controlling all of that is like controlling all of Europe at once. And when you look at it from that perspective, you go, oh, well, no wonder they've got the largest cases. They have the largest population and the biggest density of people, and so much travel going on, and interstate travel as well. I mean, you know, typical road trip. Let's take it to Cali, and so, you know, where in England we're actually a very thinly populated thing. You know, we got masses of fields and stuff, but London is obviously the densest, and London has the highest cases, because people are mingling together, and the public transport means that they're all in the same proximity. I live in the countryside, and I live in a village, and you know, you don't see people, and when you do see people, you can give them a 5-mile berth. You know, you really don't need to go anywhere near them. So I think your biggest issue is the amount of cities, the amount of density and population. It means that you're gonna. I mean, look at New York. I imagine New York has a very high number.
I think that was
the exact same thing as
that really struggled. Yeah.
So it makes sense, but I don't know. it has to get worse before it gets better, and there's only so much control you can implement over such a wide country.
Yeah. I mean, I think back to when they had 15 cases and Donald Trump came out and said, don't worry, everyone's getting better, apart from one woman who's very ill, but we're hopeful, which we need to get some better science. Like, yep, we need to get some better science. That's what we need. You're right.
Uh,
Better.
he's not wrong.
I can just click my fingers and I've got better science already. I can feel the science. And it's like, dude.
You scientists
Brilliant.
need to science harder.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like he's clearly got some words which he can't say, and he's just trying to go around. It's like, we're hopeful for her.
but
Yeah.
he is. I mean, everyone's got their own opinions of Donald Trump and stuff. I don't know American politics well enough, but I do think that he's been very blasé about it, just because maybe he's trying to keep the peace, but also because he's a bit arrogant, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like everyone else. You don't want to believe it until it's on your doorstep. So he's probably now doing a big panic because we've got the highest number of cases.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit I was pretty blasé about it at the start, but I'm not in charge of a country, so
Yeah.
I think that's the difference when you got all these scientists and these experts saying we need to sort this out, and you go, yeah, they'll be fine, fine. That doesn't really help, does it? But hey ho. So what have you been doing in your free time? I saw you got Disney Plus now. Are you Disney Plus? Are you Netflix? What are you chaining at the moment?
Do you know what? I've been trying to avoid Netflix and Disney Plus, but there's only so much, like study and working that you can do before your brain starts to melt. And watching Disney Plus is a great way to switch off and have everything come to you. But I've got Netflix, so I allow myself a couple hours a week to watch a bit of a series or a movie. And I'm trying as well to watch movies I've never seen before, but that are like, staple acting films.
The films, like the classic 100 sort of films with great acting. Yeah.
So what did I watch the other day? I rewatched The Godfather because love anything with Marlon Brando, and I want to watch more of Brando's stuff because he was considered like the best actor of all time.
Yeah.
And so I want to study what he did and what made him so good. So, looking into films like that, and also, where I'm starting to write my own films. I'm working with some guys at the moment. I have a meeting at 3:00 with these guys.
Okay.
We're drafting a script at the moment, and so what's helping is watching films and drawing from those, and seeing common themes. So, yeah, I've got Netflix, I've got Disney Plus, and they're great for relaxation and everything. But I'm also using them as revision for study because we got to always be switched on, and if you're not always working at it, then you find yourself going stale. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly not down as one of the best acting things ever, but you need to watch Tiger King. This show, everyone's going on about it, and it's fucking brilliant. Really.
What is it? Because I've not actually heard a thing about it, but I keep hearing it come up.
So they follow this guy called Joe. I can't remember what his last name is, but he goes by Joe Exotic. It's a guy that owns this tiger zoo. He has like 200 tigers, and it's going around him, and there's a couple of others, and it's focused around the fact that he hates this woman called Carol fucking Baskin, and he hates that bitch. And she's basically just been trying to get him shut down for years, saying he's like an animal abuser and all this sort of stuff. But she also runs an animal tiger sanctuary, but she has a list as a sanctuary saying that she looks after them for people that no longer want them and gets them shut down, gives them lovely big cage and all this sort of stuff. And basically, this Joe Exotic guy just wants to be famous. He's like, imagine Donald Trump, but a redneck version. He is that. He's the personality is phenomenal. And basically, it's not a spoiler because you find out at the start, but he tried to get Carol Baskin killed. And that's what it's all about. But out of this guy who he turns straight men gay and marries them and like keeps them in this little cult where they're not allowed to leave the park. He apparently abuses the animals. He like sack someone. Someone loses their arm at some point, and you're like, what is going on? He tries to get her killed, and you come out of it going, well, I can understand why. How have they done this? It's amazing. I think it's like 7 episodes, but you have to watch it. It's the most entertaining thing I've seen this year. It is
check that out. Is it? What is it, like a recreation or is it a documentary?
documentary. So I think they started it. I mean, Louis Theroux actually went there in 2011 doing like exotic animal owners. So he was sort of there back in the day, and then I think that must have sparked some interest. And then they had a lot of financial problems. They started trying to do a reality show online, and it all started kicking off. So some producer came and started filming it all, basically. And then there's this other character called Doc Antle, I think his name is, and he basically runs a cult where he gets 16-year-old girls to come in and work for him and dress up in like these sexy outfits and run this sort of like high-end theme park for big cats, where they've just got like Tiger on a leash, just walking around to people with a big old fucking tiger. And the way you work your way up in this is by having sex with the boss, and he's just got like 10 girlfriends. It's honestly amazing. I mean, not what he's doing, that's not amazing, but it's an amazing watch. It's one of those things. It's a car crash, you can't look away, but it's so freaking good.
This sounds incredible. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Tiger King.
I warn you, you will want to chain it. Next time we talk, you will have watched the whole thing, guaranteed. It's so freaking good.
I have to set a day aside and just be like, today's my Tiger King day.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure I can fit it in on my schedule somewhere.
Yeah, just a whole day. It's worth it for a whole day, trust me. Oh, so good. But yeah, so I did actually try and find some topics that I'll talk about. I thought, yeah, what sort of things do we talk about? So I thought, why not just look at the Google trending and see what's popular so that, we're hitting all the searches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Networking and doing all that sort of thing. Have you heard of Ezra Miller, an actor?
Of course I know Ezra Miller. He's the Flash.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
So apparently he's seen choking a female fan and pushing her to the ground. So that's his career over.
Oh, mate. Whoa. No, he's in Fantastic Beasts. He's the Flash. I love Ezra Miller. What? I hope that's not true. I mean,
we must say that we've not watched the video, so I'm only saying exactly what the topic or the headline is, so we're not speculating, but that is the headline. So that can't be great for his PR.
I mean, Ezra Miller is a very quirky character, and I'd like to believe that, because he comes off as very nice. He comes off as very nice, and I'd like to believe that the press has taken this out of context. Perhaps. I mean, maybe she was too forward and a bit aggressive. Maybe he was in a situation where the best thing he could do is grab her and push her away. But I just you don't want to believe that until I see the footage. I don't want to believe it.
No. So that's that'll be interesting how that develops. And then we've got good old BJ. He's number 1 in the UK at the moment.
Right.
Queen Elizabeth. Did you see her speech yesterday?
I did. What did you think? Well, let's do your thoughts first. What did you think?
I didn't really catch it. I was sort of listening in the background while working. I mean, without listening to what she said, I heard something about it's the blitz mentality and that sort of stuff. How we'll come out stronger. And I mean, again, without watching it all, I think it's one of those things where one half of me goes, it's lovely to sort of rally the country together, and the other half of me thinks, that's all right for you and your nice big mansion sitting there chilling out. And that's one thing that annoys me is when you see famous people going, stay inside, socially isolated. Like, yeah, mate, you've got a gym, you've got a home cinema, you've got all this sort of stuff. Like, that's very easy for you, and you're not living paycheck to paycheck. And let's be real, a lot of people are, and a lot of people are going to get desperate, and it is going to lead to people committing crime and people not being able to put food on the table, and that's the reality for a lot of people, unfortunately. But yeah, what did you think? Because you saw more than me, I assume.
No, I think you sort of hit the major points on the head there, because on the one hand, I love her to bits and she's a very lovely woman, but you're quite right. It is quite a privileged position that she holds in order to say please stay at home. But I think her key message was essentially thanking the nation, thanking them and encouraging them that it will get better. It's, if I think it's important in one sense, because a lot of people love the Queen and are very patriotic and are very passionate about the royal family.
Mm.
And so her voice, her message will give them a lot of inspiration and a lot of strength. And for other people, it might just reinforce their doubts. But that, in the end, if you've got a position of influence, you definitely should spread the positive message.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and just addressing the sort of privilege side of it, I hadn't thought of it the other day, but I have a garden, and I've got space, and it hit me that a friend of mine, she said, "Oh, I'm just in my tiny little flat with
Yeah.
with my partner," and she said, I've got my room in the kitchen, and I go out once a day to do my run, and that's it. And I'm like, God, I don't think about it, but I can spend all my
Yeah.
time in the garden doing stuff. I'm actually in a very privileged situation,
Mm.
and so I have to be quite grateful for that. So I try my very best not to complain, and to again just be a voice of, like, we can do this, keep
Mm.
going, it will get better. Um,
Yeah.
but everyone's got their level of like wealth and privilege and status and whatnot. And I mean, I'm not a rich man. I don't have all the luxuries in the world, but one luxury I do have is space in
Mm.
outside, and so I can't complain. Where other people have a gym and a pool, and a cinema, I would love to have that. I really would, and so I can't put them down for having it, but they also can't. They should not complain, because then of
Yeah.
course they do look like they are being very selfish and being very ignorant to everyone else's struggle.
I think you hit the nail on the head there as well. In fact, I probably haven't really thought of it as well. Is this is a good time to count your blessings? Like I said, having a garden rather than thinking back to when I was a letting agent. There were small little pokey studio flats where everything is literally in one room, and you don't have a garden. You don't. You're like, Jesus, that's not going to be great. And even thinking about stuff like, if you've got a problem at the moment with your rented property, can you get in contact with the estate agent? Can they get people out to fix it? I'm sure in emergencies and stuff you can, but there's going to be problems and that sort of stuff that you can't fix yourself and you can't actually get sorted at the moment because the world's gone to shit.
Yeah,
Basically, I spoke to someone the other day and they said their brother was meant to be moving into their first house, but the estate agency's closed. So it's like you can't do it. It's social distancing and that stuff. Like, luckily, there's no chains. They're okay, but there'll be plenty of people that are in a chain and they're up shit creek at the moment with that sort of stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, in the news also we've got Tom Dempsey dies at 73. No idea who that is.
Who's Tom Dempsey?
Uh,
What is he?
record-setting kicker. I assume that's American football.
Right. No, I don't know. No, not heard of him.
We've got the really important news that Miranda Lambert gets cozy for Bluebird performance at ACM. I feel my life is enriched knowing that. And then WrestleMania 36 results. Oh, yes. WrestleMania. Did you used to watch wrestling as a kid?
No, I never caught it. That's WWE or something.
Yeah. Are you
No,
serious?
I never watched it. I only
Oh,
I only had, when I was a kid, I had 6 channels. I only
okay.
had the analog TV until Freeview was introduced and they shut off
Right.
analog. I did not have digital TV, so no, I didn't even have access to it, let alone watch it regularly.
Good times. I never had until I was old. I didn't get Sky or anything like that, but we usually had like the free view. So when everyone was watching Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, I was like CBBC, like that sort of thing. But
Oh.
I only had the four. So your day was what, Bargain Hunt and Homes Under the Hammer then when you were a kid.
If I was lucky, Homes Under the Hammer. No,
Loose Women,
literally.
babe. I know you're a loose women kind of guy.
Oh, tell me about it. I gotta have me my Miranda and stuff. But no, do you know what? My childhood was 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. You've got CBBC and stuff,
Yeah.
but then you'd get home from school and you can go CITV until like 5 p.m. and then
Oh.
every night without fail 6 p.m. The Simpsons, Channel 4. So
See, for me, six p.m. was when it stopped. That's like when the news started on BBC, and I was like, oh, well, that's my evening over. Then that's time for bed. But yeah, we've also got news about Kurt Cobain today. I mean,
Kurt Cobain, what's going on with him?
Kurt Cobain and Lane Stalley, remembered with MTV Unplugged. I mean,
Oh,
I
with
don't,
like a documentary.
yeah, this is the most popular stuff. That Kurt Cobain's number 9 on trending at the moment. Nothing is going on apart from Corona.
Oh,
Um,
it's so depressing, isn't it?
it's just annoying that all the stuff you see is miserable at the moment. I wish I know there's a lot of stuff on Facebook. People try and do these challenges and all that sort of stuff and yeah, I get it. I guess at least it fills your feed up with something other than depressing stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, it's Adele, £140 million divorce settlement. Details are to be kept private, apart from the £140 million bit, clearly.
Oh man, can you imagine being married to Adele and you're just like, you know what, love, you know what, I can't handle you anymore. Give me 140 million pounds and I'll go away.
I mean, if you have a number, I think I could be the next husband in line if she likes a
I'll
bit of
take
young
the
me.
next 70 million, I'll take
Damn, I should have got in there first, shouldn't I, for 140.
That's
70,
true.
like,
That's true.
tough and real.
It's barely worth it, 70
I,
million.
I could barely get the train for that nowadays, to be honest, and I'm useless. All right then, mate. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything you want to have a chat about today?
No, you know what? It's I can't handle chatting anymore about coronavirus. And I as much as I'm keeping busy at home, it's like you said, you see all these challenges like, oh, do 10 push-ups and pass it on. Uh, it's it's like I know that you guys are doing that just to keep out the boredom, but it's boring to watch now.
Yes.
um, I did I think I sent it to you. It was like do a Disney film chart.
Oh yeah, that didn't go well.
I've had to stop now because I'm like, I can't keep doing Disney
It's too
charts.
much.
Yeah, I've done 2, and then it's like, no, done. I'm not doing any more. I'm not. My girlfriend sent me one. Spell out your name with Disney characters, and I'm like, no, no more. I call it at the spelling. So rather I would rather not post on social media and spend my time reading books and learning skills, and then I'll post. I think I'll post when I have something to post, or I'm like I did my live the other day, and it's like that actually felt quite good because I was interacting with people directly.
Yeah.
So
That was good fun. You didn't answer my question, which I was disappointed about.
Yeah.
Would you go into the
Your
adult film
question.
industry?
Your
Now's the
questions.
time, Jason. Put the record straight. Would you go into the adult film industry if the acting dries up? Everyone wants to know. It's why they've tuned in. Come on.
I think the reality is, and I answer this with a lot of artistic integrity.
There's no artistic integrity in porn.
If it were about the money, then I probably I don't know. I might, but it's about the art and the story.
Okay. The good story porno, you game.
It's got to have a nice narrative,
Okay.
you have to believably get with your step cousin.
Is that something you can draw and relate to and really get
the redneck, background it comes in, but hey, Jesus.
You could go around and fix the plumbing. It's fine. It could be good.
It's not necessarily a bad career move. Sylvester Stallone started off in adult films.
Yeah.
The Italian Stallion was way before Rocky, and look at him now. Everyone wants to be Sylvester Stallone, right? Yeah. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I think that's a great point to end it on, and I think we'll send that little clip to your agent and see what we can get working.
God, I'm going to lose my agent.
Well, it's been awesome chatting with you, man. Maybe we'll do it again if people like it, and try and spread some positivity during these crappy times.
Absolutely, it's good chatting to you, mate. It's always fun catching up.
Awesome, brilliant. Cheers for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know if you want to do this again. Have a little chat and escape for a bit. But yeah, cheers, mate. Take care.
See ya.